Welcome. Today we're exploring a hot topic in South Africa, the impact of minimum wage policies on ordinary South Africans. You've probably heard claims that minimum wages help people earn a decent salary, but that they also shed jobs or even force firms to close. We'll fact-check these assertions, discuss the pros and cons, and look at how these policies play out, especially in rural areas where people might work for lower wages simply because they avoid transport costs. Let's dive in. South Africa's minimum wage story has evolved over time. For example, in the agricultural sector, one of the most vulnerable parts of the economy, a major change came in March 2013 when the minimum wage increased from 69 Rand to 105 Rand per day, following widespread protests by farm workers demanding better pay and working conditions. More recently, a national minimum wage was introduced in 2019, covering millions of workers across various sectors. These changes were designed to raise living standards and reduce poverty. Studies have shown that such wage hikes boost the earnings of low-paid workers. However, there have also been concerns about potential job losses and even firm closures. In today's video, we'll unpack both sides of this debate. Let's address one of the most common claims, that minimum wages shed jobs or force firms to shut down. Academic research paints a more nuanced picture. In the 2013 agricultural wage hike, for instance, research found that non-seasonal employment growth did decline in the short run, primarily because of a temporary drop in new hires. However, these effects on employment were found to be short-lived, with employment growth recovering within 4 years as firms adjusted their business models and even replaced less productive workers with slightly better paid ones. Moreover, while there is evidence of lower entry rates, meaning fewer new workers being hired immediately, this does not necessarily translate to mass unemployment or widespread firm closures. In fact, studies do not support the dramatic claim that many firms closed down solely because of the minimum wage increase. Instead, many employers in both urban and rural areas adapted by adjusting staffing levels, investing in automation, or reconfiguring work arrangements. A key point often raised is the rural perspective. Critics say that people in rural areas prefer working for a lower pay because they save on transport costs and can eat at home during lunch, suggesting that it might be better to have a lower-paying job than no job at all, and that's an important reality. Many rural workers face a limited choice of employment opportunities. Even if their wages are below the national minimum, having a steady job, where they incur lower transport costs and enjoy benefits like on-farm accommodation, can be a lifeline compared to the uncertainty of unemployment. In this context, the minimum wage serves two functions. On the one hand, it ensures that workers receive a wage that can help lift them out of poverty. On the other, it may inadvertently price out the least skilled workers in formal employment if enforcement is too strict. Evidence suggests that in sectors with high unemployment and few job alternatives such as rural agriculture, even a small wage increase is valuable. Alright, let's summarize some of the benefits of minimum wage policies. First up, we have poverty reduction. By raising the floor for wages, the policy increases the earnings of millions of low-paid workers. This boost in earnings enhances their purchasing power and helps reduce poverty rates. Next, we see increased consumer spending. When workers earn more, they naturally spend more. This extra income circulates through local economies, stimulating demand and potentially leading to further job creation. Then there's enhanced worker dignity. A guaranteed minimum income can help ensure that all workers earn enough to meet basic needs, thereby reducing exploitation and income inequality. And lastly, economic stability in rural areas. For many rural workers, even if their wage is modest, the benefits of avoiding transport costs and having steady work outweigh the downsides of low pay. On the flip side, there are challenges and concerns. Potential job losses. Some sectors may see a temporary drop in hiring. Studies indicate that particularly in non-seasonal segments of agriculture, job entry rates fall in the short term, although these effects often dissipate over time. Risk of reduced employment opportunities. In highly competitive sectors, higher wage costs may lead employers to cut back on staff or invest in labor-saving technologies. Compliance issues. In some cases, especially among small firms, there is low compliance with the new minimum wage, meaning that not all workers benefit equally, and the policy's intended positive effects can be muted. Inflation concerns. Higher labor costs can lead businesses to pass on costs to consumers, potentially driving up prices for everyday goods. It's important to note that many of these negative effects are modest and short-term. In South Africa's experience, the long-run effects on overall employment tend to be small when weighed against the wage gains for workers. Now let's address two common myths. First, many firms closed down due to minimum wages. The evidence does not support this claim. While some employers faced short-run adjustments, mass firm closures have not been observed as a direct consequence of minimum wage increases. Instead, businesses have generally adapted through adjustments in staffing, increased automation, or even improved productivity. Second, rural workers prefer lower wages because they don't incur transport costs. While it's true that working locally has its advantages, the argument isn't that lower wages are ideal, it's that any formal employment, even at a lower wage, often provides far better stability and benefits than unemployment. These points underline that the policy's real objective is to provide a decent living wage while recognizing the local economic realities. In conclusion, South Africa's minimum wage policies are a complex but vital tool for improving the lives of low-paid workers. While there are short-term employment adjustments, especially in sectors like agriculture, the benefits of raising wages and reducing poverty often outweigh the negatives. The reality on the ground, particularly in rural areas, is that having a job, even at a lower wage, can be far better than having no job at all. If you found this video insightful, please like, comment, and subscribe for more fact-based economic discussions. Let us know your thoughts on minimum wage policies in the comments below.